Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Today, as our special guest, we have Sofia Travayiakis. How you doing, Sophia?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good. Well, it's been a while since I've done just like a pure top producer interview, but I remember when I interviewed you, what was it, about a month and a half ago, I was just like, this is a great story. I need a full hour of questions. So I'm excited about this. For those of you in the mortgage coach community, it's a wild time to be in the mortgage space, but I know I just feel so blessed that we're in a business where we get to work, and two, we're really busy. So it's going to be interesting to hear how Sophia's doing. Sophia, people who don't know you and didn't hear the last interview, if you could just tell everybody about your mortgage practice and what market you're in.
Yeah, so I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts. I have an office downtown and then in a suburb of Boston. I've been in the mortgage business for over 22 years. So been seeing these up and downs many times. And I have a team of 3 great women. So it's me, I have an assistant and a dedicated processor and a dedicated underwriter, all women.
Love it, love it. And you also have 3 kids, right? So you are juggling a lot of business and a lot of family.
And homeschooling.
Oh my gosh. How old are your kids?
I have a 13, 10, and a 6-year-old. 2 boys and a girl.
Yeah, no, my kids are, well, one's 21 and one's going to be 18 actually this week. And I just can't imagine what it would be like to balance business and homeschool with, younger kids. I bet it's a handful.
It's a lot. I give a lot of props to the teachers out there.
Yeah, no doubt. So how much volume are you guys doing? How many loans are you closing last year? And what are you trending right now per month?
So we did over 200 loans last year, closed a little over 92 if you add some of the government and refis, it was a little over 100, so million.
Nice. Well, congratulations. That's incredible volume. You are a red belt in mortgage coach. So you've done, I can't remember the exact number, but it's over 1,000 total cost analysis. So you're definitely giving families the best possible experience. So we've got a full hour to do this interview. I'd love to know, like, why did you get in the mortgage business? Like, what was it that attracted you to the business, or just fall into it?
Yeah, I kind of, it's a unique situation. I was 18 years old, I was a senior actually in high school, close to graduation. It was, I think around February that I started. And, I was kind of looking for a job that I could, work, but still go to school, go to college. So my major was pre-education, and I did want to be a teacher, believe it or not. I met somebody at a party that said, "Hey, I'm opening up a mortgage broker, a mortgage office." She was a broker. She was just opening up the company by herself. She's like, "I just need somebody to help me do paperwork and answer the phone." So I said, "All right, if you let me be flexible with my college work, no problem." So I ended up working for her. I just really learned just by working, just take day by day, learning how to process, starting doing verifications, so I really started processing in the business at 18. And then I remember doing a loan for a teacher. And I started in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I didn't start in Boston. So I started in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where I grew up. So I started there, really got to know, I'm Greek. So we have a big Greek community in Salt Lake City, actually. And so I really got to, help a lot of the community there. They really got to know me. There wasn't a lot of Greek loan officers back then. So I started doing some sales, but mostly processing at that time. And I remember when I was before I turned 20 years old, I said, I did a loan for a teacher. And I said, wow, they don't make a lot of money. Especially in Utah, they didn't. So I said, why don't I switch my major to business? So I did switch gears. And then in that spring, in March of, I think it was 2000. Yeah, March of 2000, I bought my first house when I was 20. I bought a 2-family. So I just really started enjoying it. I really enjoyed real estate and the business, and I never stopped. I thought I'd maybe graduate, and even graduating at the time, I thought about switching, maybe doing some sort of insurance or becoming financial planner. I considered that. I really did like the financial side. I think that's why I like Mortgage Coach, because I really like the financial piece of it and really helping people, create their portfolio and making sure they're on the right path to, set themselves straight. I remember helping my friends in college trying to balance their checkbooks and how to fix their credit. I used to do a lot of credit repair at the mortgage broker's office. So, and then I got hired by Wells after 2000, did a lot of training with even like Todd Duncan. I've seen him live. And then I met my husband, which is from Bostonian, and he transferred me to Boston. So.
What year was that?
So I moved to Boston in 2003. So it
Wow.
was a refi kind of boom at the time. I had interviewed with a lot of companies here in Boston. It was really difficult to find a company that I really liked. I ended up transferring with Wells, but it was a little bit harder since they didn't have bank branches like they did in Salt Lake City. So it was really tough to start over, I'll say. I was tough to just have all your contacts. I was doing really well in Salt Lake City, and had to start over here when I started in Boston with nobody and just had to start over. I would just drive around and drive to different real estate offices, give them my rate sheets back then. Here's my rates today, and get a lot of doors slammed for sure. It was tough too. I was young, and a lot of people are like, who's this teeny bopper coming here asking me to do your loans? So it was tough, really tough.
So, well, I mean, one thing I take away from your story is that you wanted to be a teacher. So you always had that heart of education. And because I've interviewed you before, I also know you have this heart and this, you want to learn, you want to be super smart. You're paying attention to what's happening in the market. And then you believe in giving families an educational experience. When did you kind of become the loan officer you are today? So, I mean, you're doing 200 loans a year. You've got a team, you're on track for doing over 25 loans this month. When did you go from, okay, I'm a core loan officer, like I'm got a career here, but when did you become who you are today and the top producer you are?
Yeah, I think that, over the years, I learned a lot in sales, and I think it took me at least 5 years, from, 2003 when I moved here, at least until 2008. I want to say 2010 was really, I think, the breaking point when we all had to take our tests, and we were all taking, our mortgage tests, and really that year, but it took 5 years at least to really build that core business and have repeat clients come back. And so it definitely took that 5 years to build the business, build a reputation. So when they say it really takes that 5-year mark, I truly believe that. And then I would say, after 2010, just, trying to build a good core customers of real estate agents, and really building that database of customers and referral partners that I could rely on. And I've worked with a lot of them since, that time, since 2010, 2008, in that time frame. And just being able to deliver and be trustworthy and, like you said, educational. I think that's one of the things actually I do pride myself on. I want to make sure that people will call me and ask me for advice. Just last night, I got an email from a real estate agent asking me for advice on a deal I'm not even doing. Just said, I have a cash deal. They're trying to pull out because of COVID. Tell me what to do, So just to give some advice is something that I want people to come to me and ask me for advice. Who should I go to? And try to have a kind of like a Angie's list of people I could give them and advice that I could give them to guide them in the right direction.
Love that. So one of the things I'd like to do And a question just came in to Zoom, how are you handling, COVID in the business today? And I want to make sure we cover that. I do want to ask a few more questions just to get a foundation for the tools that you use.
Yes.
And then let's talk about, the transition, the pivot you've had to make to working out of home and social distancing. So let's just go through your core mortgage practice last month. What's your CRM?
We use Surefire is our CRM. We use KCM as well as for posting, social posting. We use KCM a lot. I use obviously other platforms to post stuff, but we use a Surefire. That's our daily drip system, and then a few other Homebought. I use Homebought as well, which is another great.
Nice. We've got an integration rolling out with Homebought right now. It's in beta. Yeah, no, it's a great platform, and obviously use Mortgage Coach. You've done over 1,600 TCAs.
That's number one. I've used Mortgage Coach since I really started. I mean, I since 2000, I've had an account with Mortgage Coach.
Well, you were smart, and you're clearly delivering valuable advice to your clients. What about Zoom? Are you using Zoom in today's market a little bit more?
Yeah. So I think on our last interview, I said I wasn't using the video as much even on Mortgage Coach, but I think now more than ever I have to, and so I have been using it more for people that do want to meet that we can't meet now. We're doing Zoom videos, and it's a lot easier with people. A lot of people have FaceTime on their phone, so we're doing FaceTime and using Zoom, and just trying to make using the Mortgage Coach video too to help explain things.
Yeah, no doubt. So you're doing more Mortgage Coach videos, you're doing more Zoom. Are you doing any other video, like either a BombBomb video or putting video text, where you just put a text video and you send it to a client via text? Are you doing that?
More FaceTime than doing the video text, but that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I am, we're actually releasing a video. I think it's going to hit our YouTube channel today, called Josh Metal March Madness Refi Playbook. And he just does a really good job of, and he's always been doing most of his business over the phone and internet. So he's not, he does loans in all 50 states, and he just talks to the client for 5-10 minutes. Then he puts a video on it that's like 1 minute to 90 seconds. It's like giving them direction, but it's a text video with a link to his digital app, and then a Mortgage Coach TCA. So it's just this pure digital experience. I think we're going to see more of that in today's market.
Yeah.
Anything else that you're doing that's different, coming in now, like now that we know your core platform tech stack, what are you doing differently this week than last week? And what do you think it's going to look like a week from now for you?
Yeah, I think it's really important to reach out to all of my referral partners. Just talking to their 8 real estate agents. We just pushed a notification out to all of my real estate agents that said, listen, we know there's refinances coming, but our main goal is to keep those purchases. So please let us know that we're focusing on purchases, so that these real estate agents don't think that we're only worrying about these refis right now. We want to focus on purchases and keep this spring market moving along. There's plenty of buyers that are actually still looking. This weekend there was plenty of buyers out, and Boston is on lockdown as of today at noon. So we're going to be on lockdown, but we have to just keep some our brokers motivated. And so I've been really talking to a lot of the real estate agents, keeping they're letting them know that we're here, we can help them, whatever we can do to help keep this market going. And they're obviously concerned about their business dropping as well. So getting and talking to them, I think, was important.
So Mortgage Coach community, first of all, if there's something you're doing more of in today's market, put it down below. The things I'm hearing most often is I'm doing more TCAs, I'm putting more videos on it, I'm doing more video in every channel, and I'm using Zoom for both my team conversations and some client conversations. So even if you're doing those things, I just want to get some participation. So if you're watching this in the Facebook group, comment down below, what are you doing more of in today's market? And I think that's really good advice. Make sure you're communicating with your agents. So I'd like to drill down on that. So, I mean, people are still buying houses right now. Like, you know, how many pre-approvals or purchases do you have in your funnel right now?
Yeah, I mean, I do still, just yesterday, I had 3 accepted purchases. So there are people still buying. You know, they're a little concerned. You know, they're saying, you know, there are some buyers that are a little hesitant, but I can tell you that they realize that this is something hopefully short term, and that even if it affects the industry, they're stable with their job and they feel like they can move forward. So I do think that there is still enough buyers that are willing to move forward and make this happen. They have to live somewhere. I said that the other day. You have to live somewhere. Either you're going to keep renting, or you know, you're going to pay your rent, or you're going to pay a mortgage. So, you know, I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. What percentage of your business is first-time home buyers? Because you mentioned you're going to keep renting or you're going to buy. What percentage of your purchase business is first-time buyers versus move-up buyers?
Yeah, most of my business is purchases anyway. And then I would say for first-time home buyers, I would say it's about 50%. I do a lot of first-time home buyers. You know, I do have a lot of repeat clients. That's really the other 50%. You know, but new purchase business is typically, you know, those first-time home buyers that are looking to purchase.
Got it. And what about the mortgage coach rent versus own? How do you use that feature very often?
I do. I'll use the rent versus own a lot, really, to especially in the first-time homebuyer classes that I was teaching. Now we're not teaching, but I would always do a rent versus own TCA for those classes to really show them the difference. But people get it. They know that renting is not as advantageous. So just showing them the type of programs that they can qualify for now as a first-time homebuyer, like what's available. I just did an interview yesterday with the Boston Globe on what type of programs are available as down payment assistance for the city of Boston, what's available to people, because affordability is an issue. So we have to let all the consumers know. And one of the research that the reporter was telling me is a lot of people don't know what's available to them as for down payment assistance. Most of them do not know. So it's for us to educate them and give them those TCAs for them to realize what they can do.
And I love that. That is such a good use of a total cost analysis, is to show all the different down payment options, show different MI options, show owning versus renting. And in today's market, I love what Shawn Herrero did. He posted it in our Facebook group where he was showing a recession-proof mortgage, and he was showing, you know, different mortgage strategies. Scott Nicholson went in and commented in the Mortgage Coach group. That's towards the top. Anybody that is looking for ways of presenting mortgage strategies in today's market, make sure you're following the Mortgage Coach Facebook group and take a close look at what Shawn Herrero is doing. I mean, it's really smart. So let's see if we've got any questions from the audience. So Shawn Kaplan, what's up? It's great to have you active in our community, brother. Doing virtual lunches with his agents, scheduling one-on-ones, Uber Eats delivered to agents. That's interesting. Anybody else doing that? Let us know. Zoom, all kinds of Zoom. Shawn Guerrero, Zoom, Vidyard, you know, live streaming, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Bridge Builders, which is another name for KCM, Keeping Current Matters. I interviewed Dave Childers on Saturday, and he shared about 8 slides that he thought are most on point in today's market. And he put those slides in the Mortgage Coach group. I do recommend y'all sign up for Keeping Current Matters and have your own account and get the premium full package every month. But they do have an incredible blog. Like, I think, you know, a couple of my favorite resources that I read all the time are KCM blog. I'm reading The Basis Point. I'm reading Rise and Grind, Crispin Report. What are some of the news sources you're paying most attention to right now, Sophia?
Yeah, I use KCM as well. I think they have phenomenal information, very up to date. They send you every morning the most up to date information, and you can always post those and do videos. They have great they have a great platform. I love KCM. I've been using them now for about 6 months, and they're great. I know a lot of real estate agents use them as well. So it's nice to kind of.
Yeah, I think they might have like 20,000 realtors that use that
Yeah.
platform. Yeah, so they've got a lot of content. And I would love to know if you are using KCM as a source of insight. Let me know down below. Also, the basis point from Julian Hiberon. The thing I love about Julian is he's like an industry insider, and he's giving news that's relevant to us as an industry news insider, but he's also great at putting it in a customer first perspective. So he's taking like industry news and making it consumer facing. And so he's kind of like already doing that for you. So guys, keep an eye on his content, because going from what he's posting that's relevant to us to like customer facing content, it's great. And it's a little edgy, you know, it's a little young in terms of how he's delivering the information. So check that out. How many people out there also using Homebought? If you are using Homebought, let us know down below. They are trending in the mortgage coach community. That's why we're building that integration with them. Okay, so let's talk about Mortgage Coach a little bit. Why do you use Mortgage Coach? And what's your Mortgage Coach why?
Yeah, my Mortgage Coach why is why not? Really. I mean, it doesn't take, it takes really a few minutes once you have everything set up as far as your templates and what you want to do. It takes 2 seconds. You know, with our platform, we're able to price something. I can quickly click a button, and actually Mortgage Coach is integrated into our LOS, so it automatically will transfer, which is phenomenal. And so it's mindless to do a TCA, roll it in, show the customer. As I said earlier, for first-time home buyers, it's great. For refinances, I really could not do a refinance without a TCA, because, you know, we don't want to make it live yet. We want to make sure they're serious. They send them they look at their mortgage statement, send them a quick TCA on what they currently have, what a couple options would look like on a 15-year, 20-year, whatever we're looking at. And it just is blind. It's easy to say, does this work? Tell me which one you're doing and let's move forward, you know? So it's the quickest way to be able to really show somebody on paper what their numbers look like, what they're saving over the years, the interest they're saving. It just is really, there's nothing else that I couldn't do my business without Mortgage Coach.
Well, that's why I am interviewing you. You have you've done 1,600 of them, and you know you do help over 200 families a year. And guys, even in today's market, she's on track to do over 25 loans this month. So you've obviously, and I want to make sure we ask questions about realtors, how you're communicating beyond just the global message you had. But let's just unpack a refi in today's market, like what you would do from first call. So you have like a 5-10 minute conversation before you give them your digital app. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I would say, you know, a lot of the refis are prior clients. So I have a lot of their data, which is nice, you know, so if I have their data, you know, so they usually will, you know, like I'll say, you know, I'm looking at your mortgage, your current, a lot of them I get from Homebought. So let's say it's a Homebought person where the Homebought actually triggers them to, they'll trigger me and they'll say, hi, I would like to look at refinancing, because Homebought will do some analysis for them on, you know, what it looks like at a 15-year, a 20-year. So they'll trigger me and say, hey, Sophia, I'm looking at Homebought. I get an email from them saying they're looking to refinance. So when I call them, I'll say, you know, I got your message from Homebought. You're looking to possibly refinance. Let's look and see what makes sense for you. You know, how long you're going to live in the home. I think it's important to ask them that question. You know, you don't want to just say, most of them will say, oh, I just want a 30-year. I said, well, you know, let's really break that down. Let's see what your family really needs. You know, how much longer are you going to live in this condo? Oh, well, we're planning on moving in 5 years. Well, a 30 years is probably not the best for you then. Let's try to I'll put a total cost analysis together for you and show you different loan options to make sure you're in the right program. So that's the way I'm able to do that. I'll send them, get the information from their Homebought, because it already has given me their balance. And then I can easily put the information in. I know how much their taxes and insurance are already. And, you know, say, let me know after you get my total cost analysis, which option you choose, and consent to pull credit, and let's get moving on your loan. So it's really a quick conversation.
When do you give them the TCA versus the link to the digital app? You know, what does the TCA come first and then the digital app, or do you send the digital link for the app and then the TCA?
I actually do send them numbers first. On a refinance, I do the opposite for a purchase. I always send them my digital app, and then we do the numbers on a purchase. However, on a refinance, you know, I want to make sure we're looking at the right program, and they're serious moving forward, because I don't want to make a refinance live. So I try to send them the TCA first. They can see the options, let me know which one they're doing. Then they do the digital app, upload all their documents so that we have a ready-made file for my processor.
And how long does it take you to do a total cost analysis? You know, how many minutes do you think?
I don't know, probably 5. maybe less. Once I can download it and just get the rates. Probably takes me longer to look up each rate than it does to do the TCA.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Guys, I've got, so I'll put a video down below of Josh, or not Josh Metal, but Jeremy Forcier doing it in 5 minutes or less. You know, I did a site visit with him, we filmed him, and he went through his process of looking up rates, you know, and the whole thing was, you know, to do the TCA was like 3 minutes. So it's fast and easy. Now, what about some of the features? Are you using the live feature in Mortgage Coach where the client's on the phone and you're moving it at all?
Yeah, the live one is great. Usually I'll say, you know, please call me back. Let's confirm everything, because I have to get consent to pull credit and everything. So when they'll call me back, we'll go over the options, and I can do the live. So I can highlight when they're online, and able to tell them where what I'm talking about on the screen, so that they're comfortable. And that's kind of the one reason why I haven't been doing the video, is because I like the live feature and I can really talk to them over it. But I do want to move to a little bit more of the video, and hopefully they can, you know, navigate through it by themselves. But the live feature is the one I love the most.
So let's do this. Let's just do not a role play, but I want to walk through your refi experience, because I want to make sure everybody knows Sophia's Mortgage Coach refi experience. Pull up the TCA, the refi TCA that we talked about on Zoom.
Okay.
And that's the other thing, is I'm looking to see how people are, you know, using Zoom. Most Mortgage Coach users I find are still using Mortgage Coach Live. I am talking to people that are, you know, getting more people on Zoom, but they're still using Mortgage Coach Live because they want to use the highlight feature within Mortgage Coach. So I just love to know how you do it. And if you could, I'll tell you when I can see it on your screen, but okay, when I can see it on your screen, let us know what you usually highlight. Like, that's the other part. I want to kind of get, and I know it's different for every client because different people have different hot buttons. But if there are some common things that you talk about or show, I'd love to see what those are. While Sophia's getting that up, Mortgage Coach community, I'm watching and I'm tracking Facebook chat. So if you have questions for Sophia while we're live, let me know what they are. Let me know what your process is also for refis. Are you doing the TCA and then the point of sale link? Are you doing the point of sale link and then the TCA? I would just love to know, like, what are those 3 steps that most people in the community are doing for refis? And if you want to share what you're doing for purchase, that would be great. But I'm really trying to bake the cake for you guys. What are the best practices of the best loan officers during this time when just about everybody's working out of their home or at home? You know, how can we best, as professionals working out of our home, create a mortgage experience for people that are living out of their home? So Sophia, you ready to pull it up?
Yeah, I'm on. Can you see my screen?
Oh, maybe it's just the view that I have. Let's see. Can everybody else see the screen? Let's see. Hang on, Sophia.
No worries.
I just lost you. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Hey, Rob, has her screen started showing? No, I don't think it has.
Really? I know we did it earlier, Rob, and it worked. Let's see.
Share screen, the little yellow box.
Let's see.
And I'm actually gonna pull up, I'm not sure which one is your refi, but I'm gonna pull it up on my screen right now. So confirm that you can see that. Is that the purchase or the refi? Sophia, can you see it? I just pulled it up on my screen.
Pull it up on your screen. I think I'm seeing the right one.
Is this the purchase or the refi right here?
I don't think I can see your screen.
I know my screen is showing. So guys, you should be able to see an example. So a couple takeaways while we're getting our bearings here. Notice she's got her logo. Notice she's got her photo. So it's personally branded. This one is a 30-year fixed, a 7-year ARM, and a 10-year. Is that your refi, TCA?
Yeah.
So a few things that I want to make sure everybody gets is that, you know, number one, you're showing monthly payments and you're showing options. Number two, you're showing cost over time, and that's uncommon level of transparency. And guys, I don't know how many people watched the interview I did with Kristen Messerly recently, but she talked about her experience as a social worker and some of the things that she used. I can't remember what the term was, but trauma, I don't know, the concepts. And the concepts are when people are in fear, they want options, they want transparency, they want collaboration and communication so they can feel safe. So not only, you know, do you need to use more video, but you need to give more options and you need to give more transparency, because that's how people are going to feel safe about the decision making they make. And that's not just for the next couple weeks, couple months. We don't know how long we're going to be under this lockdown, but I do believe that there's a pivot that will take place. I mean, what's happening today, and as many people that are having to do life digitally, is a lot of people aren't going to come back to work. A lot of people are now learning how to use their mobile devices better. So these trends are going to be long-term trends, and in today's market, they're just important nuances to follow. So anything you want to call out in this TCA, Sophia? And can you see it?
Yeah, so this one, you're right. This one was the purchase. I don't know if you want to pull up the refi, but one of the things that I do on the live is I have them click on the more info button. So that's really important. Yeah. So I like to go in here. I like to show their payment breakdown, you know, what's included in the payment, what's not included. You know, if it's a condo, it'll separate the condo fee so they know what they're paying to the bank. I look at the closing costs, break those down, go into the fee stream, and make sure that I set up the correct fees, you know, based on the type of loan. So it's good to have, you know, those set up already. So you can just click of a button, everything that's loaded on the correct program. If you're doing a purchase on the refis, make sure I set up 3 tabs actually on the refi. So on the refi, I set up a tab that says rolling in closing costs. So the closing costs will be added automatically into the loan amount when you do a TCA. And then I did another one where you do closing costs are just paid for by the buyer. So if they want to pay for the closing costs outright. And then the third one is me covering closing costs. So covering costs that are, you know, paid by lender. So that I have three options that I can click on a refi, and I know exactly what type of program they're doing, and it uploads all the closing costs. So this scenario this one's a purchase. It was a jumbo purchase where we're looking at different options for this borrower. And oh no, sorry, you moved it to the refi, huh?
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. So this was a refi. Yeah, this is just, I was just showing them different loan options based on, again, they weren't going to live in this house much longer. So it showed them the 30-year, the 7-1, and the 10-1. They ended up locking actually on the 7-1 arm. So I was showing them their options. Again, it shows the condo fee, but then also shows them what the payment difference was and the years, the savings over time. So for him, he was saving another $4,000 to be able to do the 7-1 arm, and his goal was to move. They're going to move within 7 years anyway.
Love that. I'm trying to pull up a quick slide that I want to walk everybody through real quick. Just give me a second to find it.
I mean, I think having everything ready in your mortgage coach is important, and then it makes it so much easier to have everything ready to go.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Make sure you have templates set up. And guys, these are the 4 essentials to smart mortgage decisions. And we made this slide available last week, I think, in our Facebook group. So it's available in there. If anybody needs it, just ask for a question. The 4 essentials to a smart mortgage. And those 4 essentials are: make sure you have, 3 to 6 months, not just from a loan qualification reserves, but for emergencies, for opportunities. I think after COVID, people are going to think a lot more seriously about this. And it's important that you not only talk about mortgage things, but you talk about financial planning, things like this, because now you're being a teacher, you're being an educator, you're getting them to look at things differently, and you're giving them mortgage strategies. Number 2 is, you notice Sophia's always analyzing the debt over time, 3 years, 5 years, 15 years. That's a key. Most loan officers don't do that. She's always looking at all of the debt, So Sophia, how often are you doing debt consolidation loans, or, presenting TCAs that show debt consol?
I do that as well, especially right now on the refinances. People have a car payment that's $400 a month where I can reduce it in there and there's not, right now the add-ons to do cash out, depending if they have most people have a lot of equity in their home right now. So the cash out refinances are not terrible. The rate's still good on it. So I've been paying off a lot of cars, maybe some student loans. Some student loans are at 6 and 7%. Might as well roll it into the mortgage if the equity's there. So definitely been doing a lot of rolling in some of that consumer debt.
Yeah, and then number 4 is always analyze strategies to reduce debt and pay off the home faster. That means prepaying the mortgage. So Sophia, would it be uncommon for you if you were to do a total cost analysis, you evaluated debt, that, option 1 would be what you have, option 2 would be this debt consolidation and you use the cash how you want it, and then option 3 is prepaying your mortgage and look at how much faster you can pay it off? Do you do that very often?
I do. I have an amortization schedule actually template that I send to people, and they can also play with it if they like the numbers. But also in this recently also been doing that, just showing them on a TCA, and not to go back on a 30-year, doing a 20-year. Right now with the savings, if they're dropping like a percentage point, the 20-year is the same payment as the 30-year they've been paying. They're already saving, maybe if they've been in it a couple of years, 8 more years on their loan by doing a 20-year, and their payment stays the same. So that's how I've been reducing years.
Love that. So guys, this is the reference that I made earlier. Highly recommend you listen to the interview I did with Kristen. It was just a couple days ago, and it was winning with millennials. And she wrote this article in Housing Wire, which, by the way, another great news source that I watch all the time or read. But it's called Trauma Informed Care Model. And basically the 5 keys to it are safety, transparency, choice, collaboration, and empowerment. And when you think of those, those 5 things, you can't help but think of a total cost analysis. I mean, that's what people need, especially when they have concerns that are as big as they are today. Okay, cool. So anything else, anything different about a refi versus a purchase? So other than you're doing the app and then you're doing the TCA for a purchase, anything else, any other nuances that we should talk about?
Yeah, and I think the reason why I do the purchases is because I don't know the customer yet, right? It's kind of like a doctor where you need to understand the patient to really prescribe them with the medication, right? You have to understand their whole profile. I want to see their application first on a purchase and be able to advise them in the right direction, so that's why I do the opposite. If it's a refinance client I don't know, that would be a little bit different. But for a purchase, I would say that I can tell you a lot of the banks, a lot of the loan officers aren't doing TCAs. People like you just gave that example. I thought that was a great example because that's exactly what people want. They want the knowledge, they want the options. I think some people said, oh, it's too complicated. Some people say, oh, it's too complicated for my buyers to send them a TCA. They're smart. They can figure it out. It's not, even if they don't fully understand every single loan option you're giving them, you gave them options, and that's, I think, the biggest trust, that people understand, okay, they're giving me these options. I understand now why this person is a good, person to work with from now and in the future. So I think it does really build trust, and clients truly appreciate it on a purchase as well, more than anything, I think, because they get multiple options.
Yeah, no doubt. So I'm going to share my screen one more time, and then I'm going to transition, by the way, with questions with you around, how you're working with realtors. But I want to go through one more best practice here. So give me a second to share my screen. Okay, guys. So what you're seeing right there, that is a picture of Kelly Zitlow, who I've interviewed countless times. And if you went into her office and met her in person, she would talk to you. She would ask you questions. Prior to COVID, she was trying to, getting over 50, probably 70% of her clients into her office. By the way, how would you answer that question? What percentage of people were you meeting with prior to the lockdown that we're in right now?
I would say about 25% of mine meet with me.
Okay, so 25%. Now, guys, all of us, it's zero. So we're not getting face-to-face with clients. So now more than ever, it's important that you've got a great, digital experience. How you show up in text, how you show up in email. You're not going to be able to hear this video, but I'll put a link to the video that this is in our Facebook group, so you can actually hear what Josh is saying. So he's talking to him, text video, link to apply. If it's a purchase, if it's a refi, maybe you give them the TCA first. And then he's giving them, this cut and paste experience. And then the family is getting a link to a TCA. And I do recommend, I don't know, how often are you texting the link to the TCA versus emailing the link, Sophia?
I've been doing more and more texts lately, since COVID, because there's a lot of people that are just home and they're not at their computers. And so I've been texting it more. But before I did do it more over email. But I do like the text. I think it's great. People they just have to have the capability on their phone to open it.
Yeah, so make a note, guys, more text first. What you see now is you see what it takes to be a black belt at Mortgage Coach, which is 300 TCAs. You've done about, 8 times that. And then knowing how to do all the things, video, voice, and knowing how to do all the other strategies. So you see all the strategies around this loop. Which ones do you do most often? Which mortgage strategies would you say are most common for you?
My most common are going to be the rent versus own, is something I do a lot. I would say pre-approvals, of course, is top. I mostly am doing it for purchases. And then right now, I would say refinances, the rate and term refinances and the cash out refinances.
Got it. So guys, Mortgage Coach community, share down below in chat. What are the 3 TCAs you're doing most often in the market? So I do have one favor to ask. If you could forward a rent versus own TCA, so that when we publish this video on YouTube and we turn this into content and value, that we have an example of one of your rent versus owns.
Sure.
You cool with that?
Yeah.
I have one more little favor, and you can say no to this.
Yeah.
I would love it if you added a video to it, like a 2 to 3 minute video that just exemplified how you might communicate a rent versus own in a video. Would you be game with that, or is that asking too much?
Yeah, no, I could do that.
All right, cool. All right, well, I think we've really got a good breakdown of your borrower experience. Let's go to realtors. How are you using the fact that you're this Uber educator? You're educating at a high level. How do you position that with realtors? Do you show them the TCA? What are some of the things you do so that your agents know that you really are going beyond the norm with borrower education?
Well, I would say, now more than ever, it's also, sending them information. If they're not on Facebook or LinkedIn, just emailing it to them directly. Now it's important about articles, what they need to know, what they need to be telling their clients at this point. you know, giving them that advice if they're not getting to it quick enough, just sending it to them, you know, calling them, of course. But yes, I do share my TCAs with the clients, especially the realtors that are they're first-time home buyers and they're not sure if they are doing an FHA, if they're doing a conventional loan, so they know what type of, you know, home they should be looking at with the buyers. I absolutely send them the TCA to look at. The people that love the TCAs the most are the financial advisors. You know, right around this time of year and tax time when they're meeting with their financial advisors, a lot of advisors will refer people to me. I send it back to them and they will sit and actually review it with their financial advisor. So the financial advisors love the TCA as well. Realtors, I think, like it just because they want to know what type of program they're putting the client on. A lot of them love to see the numbers, the payments. So the TCAs for them, it's easier to text it to them. You know, here's the client's, or email, I guess, and send them the pre-approval letter along with a TCA so they know where my head is and what the clients are going to be doing in the future.
Got it. So guys, think of it from this way. The total cost analysis is just a more effective way to communicate. And so not only do realtors appreciate it because it's communication around what the family's doing, but here's the deal. If you have a team, your team likes it. Like when I did the site visit with Jeremy Forcier recently, his team was commenting on how much they love it because, you know, they have the file, but when they have the TCA with a video, they know what was presented to the family. So they know, they have more context. So it's a great handoff and it's a great collaboration and communication tool, which I think in today's market, we need to over communicate to help people understand their options.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing, Dave. So a lot of times, you know, if let's say my assistant did a TCA for somebody that I didn't, she'll keep notes, you know, on our end. When we're in our mortgage coach, we can see the notes in the section. So I know which, let's say I looked at multiple lenders, she'll put the notes in there saying, I quoted this bank, this lender, you know, for this rate for this client. So that when I go back or talk to the client about it, I know exactly which program I'm looking at. So it's good between your team, like you said, to put little notes. We know exactly what we quoted them so that we're on the same page.
I like that. And I don't know if you know, we have a team version for enterprise users of Mortgage Coach. There's a team edition of Mortgage Coach. So makes collaboration even more effective and easy. You might want to make sure you guys have that activated. I'll mention to my team to make sure you guys have the team edition activated. So that's very cool. Let's talk a little bit about how you're talking about the combination of Mortgage Coach and Homebought. I'm curious because we're coming to market with Homebought. Are you using Homebought as a value prop with agents? And is there a way that you're describing it to agents to make it valuable to them?
Yeah, I mean, I just started that integration, so it is newer for me as well. I think since November, we've been starting Homebought. The way that I've been presenting it with the realtor is that there's a feature on Homebought that allows the customer to ask for a CMA. So if they've been living in the house for a couple of years and they're thinking about selling it or just want to know what their value is or just want to maybe talk to a realtor, but I've been able to send 2 of my realtors back to the client. So they're obviously connected to the client that we have in the system, the real estate agent that was connected with that buyer on the purchase. So I'm able to call them back and say, listen, hey, do you remember Donna? They're looking to maybe sell their house. She's asked me for a CMA. Please reach out to them. So it's just a touch point that I go back to the realtor and add that value.
That's awesome. By the way, I'm going to be interviewing Ernie Gary, the CEO of Homebought, this Friday. So this Friday at 9:00. And, you know, we're just going to be going back and forth on how mortgage professionals can use the combination of our platforms to get more referrals from realtors, to deliver more value to their families, just go around on that. And another, Sophia, I highly recommend you check out the interview I did with Ryan Grant about a month or 2 ago. He is like, you know, his team did 180 million last year. So he's one of Fairway's biggest teams. And they recently became the preferred lender for Facebook. And when you, and I asked him, like, you know, how did you get the meeting? How'd you get to become the preferred lender? Like, what was your value prop?
Yeah.
And you know, he's created a term and a platform called the Art of Homeownership. And again, it's spectacular. He's done a great job. You should even check out his Art of Homeownership. But Homebought and Mortgage Coach are part of what's driving it. And when you really peel back the onion, it's the fact that you're able to deliver value outside the transaction.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of great loan officers that know how to close loans, know how to do transactions, know how to give rates. There's not a lot of loan officers that are giving the kind of advice that Mortgage Coach powers. And there's not a lot of loan officers that can bring leads back through the whole Homebought platform. So check it out. It's really powerful.
Thank you. I will. Yeah.
So we got 10 minutes left. I want to go through daily rhythms, how you plan. You know, I think when we did the last interview, it came out that you use Win by Noon. So walk us through how you use Win by Noon and your planning regiments and just your daily rhythms.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to the daily rhythm I did prior to COVID, because now it's just chaos with COVID. It's been a little bit chaotic to try to do that from home. But on a normal, week, the Win by Noon helps me just to keep on track with, what is important for, that day. Getting back to certain people. I do like to write it down. I'm a little old school in that way. But I use the Win by Noon to keep me on track with what I need to do specifically for that day, and also who I need to reach out to that just is right in front of me. It's next to me on my desk. Okay, I need to ping this, and this person. But typically on Mondays, I do it by day. On Mondays, I am doing more of the, pre-approvals, doing the mortgage coaches, getting anybody that needs their offers updated or new prices so they can get their offers accepted for the Tuesday, 5 o'clock or Monday, 5 o'clock deadlines. So I'm mostly doing pre-approvals on Mondays, and, pre-quals on Tuesdays are the days that are follow-up for real estate agents, following up with them, either doing lunches or FaceTime with them. Wednesday is pipeline review, trying to go through my current pipeline, make sure all the customers in the current pipeline are taken care of. Thursdays are more of a day where I'm doing some marketing and possibly in some more meetings, lunch meetings with financial advisors, CPAs. At this point, this time of year, we're meeting with some of the CPAs or pinging them, say, let me know if you have any clients that need some help. And then Fridays are closing days, so trying to physically go to some closings, which I think is important as well.
Love that. And are you tracking your daily leads? Like, do you track every lead that comes in with a source?
Yes, I do that on the Win by Noon. Yes.
Got it. And guys, I think in today's market, it's so important that you're doing this, planning your day, making sure you're executing the plan of your day, winning by noon, tracking every single lead. When I did the site visit with Jeremy Forcier, his goal was 100 leads per week, per month. And he was at like 170 for the month. And he was just showing, how he tracks it. And his number one conversion lead was from his current pipeline. So let's also remember, everybody, like all the loans you have in the pipeline, strategically asking for the referral is just the key. And I'll pull up something on that. By the way, do you do that? Do you ask for referrals from your current pipeline?
I do. I will ask for referrals. I do the annual review is the biggest one. I do an annual review every for 30 days, whatever I closed that prior year at, let's say, so now we'd be in February, whatever loans I closed in February of 2019, we do annual reviews for them.
Love that. So guys, here's the takeaway from Jeremy. So he's not just asking every customer for a referral. He's waiting until the client says thank you. And he said everybody says thank you at least once in the transaction. Usually it's either pre-approval, clear to close, but he's waiting until they say thank you in an email or a text. And then he's just sending this simple email or text, whatever channel he's communicating. And he's like, we love helping you, space. Can you help me with something, space. My goal this year is to work with people I like, space. Can you introduce me to 2 people that you think I should know or I can help in the future? And guys, in today's market, with the refi craze that we have going with rates, Everybody knows someone. So make sure we don't forget to ask your current clients for business. So let's wrap up. Any favorite books that you've read over the past year, or just all-time favorite book? Anything come to mind?
All-time favorite. Oh, where do I have it? I don't have it here. I don't have it here. What's the name of it? I've read a few lately. I just wanted to mention real quick something about on the Win by Noon. I think what helps me the most with the leads is thanking the person that sent the lead on Win by Noon, because marking it is great to mark, okay, great, I got this lead from where it came from, but also marking who gave me that lead and thanking them, because it's hard when you get the leads to thank everybody, but writing it down and having it in my book really helps me go back and thank those people that send the lead over. So
I love that. Yeah, no, it's such a great playbook to just keep you on track. And it's just check, check, check. Do you check the TCAs? I know it has an option to check your daily TCAs. Do you check that?
what do you mean?
Your TCAs, you can actually, track your daily calls, and you can also track TCAs. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yeah, who's opening them, you mean?
Yeah, or no, how many TCAs you created in a day? Do you track that at all?
I don't track how many I've created. No.
No worries, no worries. Well, we do have gamification coming out, so we're gonna push that to you within our new interface that's coming out within the next couple of weeks, guys. You'll all you can find it now, but you need to know where to find it. But we'll start having the white belt to black belt badges, or red belt, and we're also going to push that data towards you. So let's close out with any advice that you have, because again, you're a mother of three, you're doing a lot of business. For all those loan officers out there that are struggling, any advice you have to folks, to your peers as a leader?
I would say as far as advice, I think it's the one thing that I always tell people when somebody asks me, how do I build that business? I think it's understanding all the programs and understanding what you can sell and what you're selling and being confident. So really learning what you're selling and being confident in that, I think will help you create better TCAs, be able to talk to somebody confidently that you're putting them in the right place and the right loan. You understanding that conveys better to the client. And I think they really appreciate it, and they really feel that you're putting them in the right position and helping them. So I would say right now is a good time, since I know we're busy, but if you have some time to just learn some product, learn a little bit more about what your business, what you can offer your clients. Maybe if you're not familiar with down payment assistance, find out what your community is offering for down payment assistance. You can always learn more. I try to do that every day.
Yeah, so guys, it has never been a better time to make the digital transition. And it's never been a better time to, wherever your weaknesses are, get smarter. It'll help you in this market, and it will help you in the market once we get past this and we get into a more normal market. Any last parting words of wisdom for new loan officers, someone that's in their first year in the business? Any quick advice for them?
Oh gosh, just hang on tight and ride the wave.
Yeah, right. Do a total cost analysis.
Yeah, learn how to do mortgage coach. That's for sure.
Right on. Well, you have been awesome, Sophia. It was great getting to know you even better. You're just a great, example and leader for our community. So thank you for taking time to share value. For everyone that's listening to this, if you got value, give us a like. This will be posted in our YouTube channel probably by 2 o'clock today. It's available live now in our Facebook group. And I think today, in this world that we're at right now, it's more important than ever that we connect, we collaborate. So please, if you have questions, put them in the Mortgage Coach group. And it's a time to learn, so watch at least one Mortgage Coach YouTube video per week, and you'll be the best you can be. So Sophia, have an awesome day, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks all for watching. Appreciate it.
Right,
Bye-bye.
take care, y'all. Bye.